Hi, I'm Janet Noak.
And I'm Andrea Dillon.
And we are with CPAs of Florida, and we are happy to be here today joining Peacevision to give some peace about some stimulus check information. So Andrea, I'm going to go ahead and start and talk about how much the stimulus checks are and how much people can expect to receive. So the first thing, you've heard all of the hype about $1,200 for each person. That's true. You can also, we're going to get $2,400 for a couple. So if you're married filing joint, you're going to get $2,400. There's a lot of questions around dependents that we're going to ask in a little bit and get into some detail. But right now, for the top level, age 16 and under, you're going to receive a $500 stimulus check for each of your children that are age 16 or under, or your other dependents. Now, unfortunately, if they're age 17 and above and they're your dependent, so you have a college-age student or you have an elderly parent who's residing with you, you're not going to get a stimulus check for them. So I will talk a little bit more later about how that's actually going to fall out in how you could get that. Let's also talk about whether it's going to be taxable or not. So high level, these are not going to be taxable to you, so they're not taxable income. So that's great. You actually get to keep all of your money that they will give you. So Andrea, do you want to talk about the phase outs?
Absolutely. Your income plays a huge piece into if you are eligible for one of these checks. So there's a different income limitation based on if you are single, if you are married, or if you're filing head of household. If you are single, if your household income, so I mean that's you're single, is $75,000 or less, you get the entire check that you're eligible for that Janet just talked through. If you are married and that same household income, so you plus your spouse, is $150K or less, same thing. You get the whole stimulus check that we just spoke about. And if you're filing head of household, that amount is $112,500. So what happens if you're married and instead of $150,000, your income is $152,000? Does that mean because you are $2,000 over, you get nothing? And the answer is no. They built in a phase out range. So that means that through this phase out range, and I'll give you the numbers in a moment, you get a pro rata piece of what you would be eligible for. So if you do the math and you come up with a number, say it's, I don't know, $2,800 that you're supposed to get based on what Janet just spoke about, if your income is in these ranges that I'll share with you, then you get some of that. So obviously the closer you are to the high end, the less you're going to get, and the closer you are to the low end, the more you're going to get. And those ranges are as follows. If you are filing as single and your income is between $75,000 and $99,000, you still get something. Once you are $99,000 plus, you get nothing. You made too much money. Those numbers, if you are married, is $150,000 to $198,000. And if you're filing head of household, it's $112,500 to $136,500. So now we have had a lot of questions over the last, say, month on these stimulus checks. So what we're going to do now is share some of our most frequently asked questions to try to help put everybody at ease as to whatever their wonderings are. So Janet, one of the big questions that we've gotten is, what if my child works? They're 17, 18, 19, whatever. They're still probably living at home. You're probably still supporting them, but they do have a W-2. They're working. How is that treated?
So that's a great question, and we've had lots of our clients ask that question. And the key is, if they're 17, 18, 19, you probably want to still be claiming them on your tax return. But if you heard earlier, I said if you are above the age of 16 at the end of the tax year, then you don't get a stimulus check for them. So you don't get the $500. But if they don't file their own return and claim themselves, they also don't get the $1,200. So they're kind of in a no man's land for the stimulus checks. They're not going to get anything, and you're not going to get anything. So some of your kids may go out and want to file their own tax return because they know if they do that, they're going to get $1,200 back. So got to kind of be on top of that because we're definitely going to see that. It's going to be an issue. So one of the gotchas in the kids is that if your child turns 17 in 2019, but they were 16 in 2018, you will receive the stimulus check for them. However, you will have to repay it in 2019. So those 16 to 17-year-olds, they're probably going to be a little bit more of a hassle than they already are to you this year. So definitely want to consider that going forward. Andrea, one of the questions is, how will I get the money?
So the IRS hopefully already has your banking info. If you filed your 2019 tax return already and you had direct deposit info on that, so you got a refund and you put your banking info in, they've got that info. You may have already received your check. They will just magically deposit it into your bank one day. If you filed 2019 or you haven't filed 2019, we'll circle back to that in a moment. They don't have your bank account info. They're going to mail you a check. There is a feature on the IRS website at www.irs.gov. They have an entire COVID-19 section on their website. There is a feature where if they don't have your direct deposit info, you can add that in. Be forewarned, it is super glitchy. So there are all kinds of errors people are getting. So if you are using that website, please don't use it as a be-all and end-all, because they tried to roll something out to help the masses. So there are a lot of glitches in it. So point being, if they've got your banking info, it will just magically appear in your bank account one day. If they don't have your bank account info, they will send you a check. If they have your bank account info and it is no longer open, so you've closed that account since the refund was from whatever year they're using was applied, they try to direct deposit it, it's going to hit as not being able to fund because there's no bank account there. Then they'll mail you a check. So just know that's going to delay things a little bit because they're trying to hit the masses, but hopefully they've got your info already and you shouldn't have to do anything. The holdup we're hearing is that if you used a tax software company, for lack of a better word, that you received a prepaid card. So a lot of the H&R Block, TurboTax, Liberty Tax, they give you a prepaid, like auto-filled card while you're waiting for your refund, and they can't direct deposit to that. So there's definitely a lot of issues people are working through, but hopefully they have your banking info and you don't need to do anything. So now let's circle to, I spoke about the income limitations. How is the IRS getting those numbers? What year of tax returns are they going to use to pull those numbers, Janet?
Absolutely. So the first thing they're going to look at is whether you filed your 2019 tax return or not. If you filed your 2019 tax return, that's the first thing that they're going to look at. So if you are married filing joint and you filed your 2019 tax return, those are the numbers they're going to use. Now, obviously, some of you are saying, oh gosh, 2019 was higher in income than 2018, and I did already file my 2019 return. Can I use my 2018 numbers? The answer is no. You can only use your 2018 income levels if you have not filed 2019 yet. So obviously, if you had a great year in 2019 and you haven't filed yet and 2018 would qualify, you should hold off filing until you get your stimulus check. They will not take the stimulus check back because you filed 2019 in July, August, September, and you would not have qualified. So ultimately, if you've not filed 2019 and you believe that your income will be too high to qualify, you should hold off and let your 18 income rule. If you've filed 18 and 19 and both are above the phase-out limits, you will actually be able to get your stimulus check if 2020's income is in a qualifying zone. Unfortunately, you'll have to wait until the end of 2020 and file it in 2021 on your 2020 tax return. So you're going to get it, but you just may not get it very soon. So Andrea, what if you haven't filed any of these tax returns?
So there are a lot of people in the world who are behind in their taxes, be it intentional, be it accidental. There's a lot. They are not using the tax return. So if you have a balance due, I know we didn't talk about this, but if you have an outstanding balance due to the IRS, this has no bearing on if you're going to get your stimulus check. They are simply using it for income verification. So what happens when 18 and 19 are both not filed? Because then they're not going to be able to verify your income. So there's really two questions in here. What if I filed 2018, but I haven't filed 2019 yet because, of course, this whole thing happened during tax season. The answer to that one is you will still get your check. They're going to use it off of 2018 numbers, which you have already filed. It will probably be delayed because they're trying to hit the maximum amount of people first, so they're doing the easy ones, 2019 with direct deposit. So they will get to you if you filed only 2018. It's just going to be a little bit delayed. You still don't need to do anything. Of course, you can go ahead and file 2019 if you're ready, but you don't have to. Now, the other question, what if I haven't filed 18 or 19? What is the quickest and most efficient and least cost advantageous way I can handle it? The IRS has come out and said you need to file 2019. So they're saying you can skip 18, you don't have to file that, but please file 2019. That's what they're going to use. If you ignore that and you just file 2018, you're not going to get your stimulus check. So if you're behind and you filed neither 18 or 19, in order to get your check, you need to file 2019.
Awesome, Andrea. I think that covers the most common questions we've been asked about the stimulus checks. So let's close this for now. I'm Janet Noak.
And I'm Andrea Dillon.
And we are here on Peacevision today, and we're with CPAs of Florida.
Thank you.